the C-45 jobs in Gold Act 2012.
Resuming debate, the Honourable
Things got heated Wednesday in the House of Commons between Government House Leader Peter Van Loan, NDP House Leader Nathan Cullen, and NDP Leader Thomas Mulcair. The confrontation took place after some procedural wrangling over the government's omnibus budget bill. In a minute, we'll talk to Nathan Cullen. First, though, Peter Van Loan joins us from Ottawa. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So I guess you've heard what people are saying happened, but let me ask you what happened.
Well, we were dealing with passage of our budget bill, which is, of course, focused on our major priority, jobs and growth. And we'd had a vote on it the night before, and the opposition House Leader had gotten up and raised a point of order objecting to a mistake that was actually made by the NDP's own Deputy House Speaker, Joe Martin, and somehow suggested that that was something that was a mistake by the government. And under the rules of protocol in Parliament, I had to respond to that, but without pointing out the fact that this was actually a mistake made by Mr. Martin from the NDP. And I was quite constrained and polite about it, but and I understand that Joe's new to the job and he's going to make mistakes. That's not a big deal. But I thought it was highly inappropriate for the NDP then to try and somehow suggest that the government had made a mistake when it was really their own guy. So I went over to express my disappointment to Mr. Martin at this, and it's true I may have used a colorful word in the process, but as I said, what he did was inappropriate. What surprised me, however, was the absolute explosion from Thomas Mulcair, the NDP leader, which I was quite taken aback and surprised by.
And when you say explosion, what do you mean?
Well, he completely lost his temper, and I totally snapped. I don't even remember what he said. I was so surprised and shocked. I sort of went down on a knee because I was trying to have a conversation with Nathan Cullen, not with Mr. Mulcair, who I guess in hockey terms was the third man in, but quite aggressive. But
okay, explain to me in terms of protocol, when you literally get up and walk across the floor, wouldn't that be interpreted by most to be some kind of provocation?
No, we do that all the time. We discuss things all the time, and that's the most efficient way. Our seats are across from each other, and House leaders have to work together. We've always done it well. In fact, Nathan did the same yesterday with me. There was no issue.
So we're walking right across the floor?
Yeah, it happens all the time. We have those discussions. The reason why the folks on my side got involved and it looked more than it was on television was they were quite surprised at kind of the lunge that Mr. Mulcair took and his explosion, and they told me they were a little concerned for my well-being. I think I would have been fine, but that's what happened.
They were seriously concerned for your well-being?
That's exactly why they got in there, and they didn't know where this was going to lead because, as I said, Mr. Mulcair was very, very angry. And, you know, his temper is well known. We haven't seen it recently. It's come out from time to time, but I was still quite surprised by what happened.
So as far as, and you know what his side of the story has been or would be expected to be, because we're going to talk to him in a moment, so you don't think that you did anything at all wrong?
Well, I acknowledge I did use a colorful word, and that was probably not the best way to do things, but in the circumstances where we just spent time in the House, with the NDP House Leader complaining the government was somehow incompetent and had failed and our vote was invalid, all because of an error made by an NDP Deputy House Speaker. And then in my effort to respond to it, I respected the rules. I did not point out what had actually happened because that would have been being critical of that NDP House Speaker. I didn't want to do that. That doesn't give any credit to the institution. So that's why I say my point was valid. The point of order they'd raised was way across the line. And I wanted to make that clear that they shouldn't conduct themselves that way. But as I say, Mr. Mulcair's response, which is what I think made this into a story here, is the big surprise. So
given that you're so angry with him, I mean, how do you then go on work? Is there a point at which maybe today the two of you or maybe even the three of you can sit down and say, let's just calm things down a bit?
Well, politics is a passionate business. We're all here because we believe things. And I think when you look at some of the things that have been said in the past by Mr. Cullen about the government, and you just need to look over the past couple of weeks at the motives he's ascribed on the budget and so on, we can always work together, and I think we've had a good working relationship up till now. I think that will continue after we get past yesterday.
Okay. All right. Peter Van Loan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.